two former Union stars, Bright Sodji and Jim Fallon. Linton Stott and Francis Cummins, the youngest ever Wembley finalists. In the centre, David Maiko is back after 9 games out. Kevin Iro for Leeds. Mark Gampson, a former Leeds Colt, and Craig Innes, the former All Black. Standoff, Richard Price tries to quell Gary Schofield, while 2 of the brightest teenagers are head-to-head. Ryan Sheridan and Graham Holroyd. Paul Broadbent's an England international. Kiwi test forward is Sini Faimilo. Mick Cook's been a loyal servant, and he faces New Zealander George Mann. Hookers, Lee Jackson, the International Player of the Year, and James Lowes. While in the second row, Ian Hughes takes on Gary Mercer, and 18-year-old Keith Senior is up against British international Richie Ayres. At loose forward, it's Darren Turner, and it's 424 career tries now for Ellery Hanley. Warming the benches to start, Carl Briggs, and Harvey Howard has failed a fitness test, so Jim Leatham comes in, and it's Carl Randall and Neil Harmon. Gary Hetherington is boss at Sheffield. Leeds coach is Dougie Lawton. Match referee is Russell Smith. He's 31 years old, and in 1993, in his second season in the middle, had control of the Challenge Cup final. This is a massive game for Leeds at the top of the Stonesborough Championship here at sun-drenched Don Valley as this game gets underway. March the 27th last year, Sheffield beat Wigan 10-5 to throw the title race wide open. Can they do the same again today to Leeds? Vital game for the men from Headingley. This is Broadbent with the drive up towards the halfway line. 3 players pile in to bring him down. Referee's whistle sounds. He saw the knock on.
Just a little one there from Lee Jackson. Well spotted by the referee Russell Smith there. Not the best start for the Eagles. A lot of changes to this Sheffield side. And it really will be a difficult task against a Leeds outfit that is really in top form.
Kevin Iro has control of the ball on the halfway line, and quickly in was Bright Sodji with a little bit of help too from David Maiko. This now is Jim Fallon. Takes 3 men to bring Fallon down. James Lowes is the dummy halfback, and this now is Gary Mercer. Good run from the Kiwi second rower, dragging Leeds into the danger zone for Sheffield. Lowes, the dummy half, to Holroyd. He helps it on further wide to Schofield, who comes back this way. Gary Schofield.
That was great defence there by Sheffield. They really did move up quickly. The superb long ball from the hooker, James Lowes.
On the last tackle, the kick downfield. And there was the Sheffield man who was caught offside then.
Well, I don't know how he's got it offside there. It came off the foot of David Maiko. Well, that's accidental offside, and I can't really feel that the referee did the right decision then. He had no chance to get to that. It just ricocheted straight off him.
Perhaps an indication of the swirling wind that's here at Don Valley today. Leeds deciding to run this penalty, and that was George Mann. The Leeds public in the stands here at Don Valley, they must be outnumbering the home fans 2 and 3 to 1. They really are roaring Leeds on here in the opening moments, and that's how close Leeds are to an early score. Long ball from Schofield is intercepted easily though by Sodji, and Schofield coming back to help cut Sodji down. That's a blunder from the Great Britain international.
He read it well, Bright Sodji. Came straight in off the wing, bounced through, but it was Gary Schofield that just clicked the ankle. Otherwise, Sodji would have been well away. Jim Fallon also was in there.
Leeds, meanwhile, have been caught offside at the play of the ball.
See quite clearly there that James Lowes, not the second marker. He did not square up. You have to be squared at that position. Well, it looked like Leeds were going to start to swamp all over this Sheffield side. Long switches of play, some beautiful passes along the line, and then Sodji just appeared out of nowhere. He read it so well.
Penalty then to Sheffield Eagles, and they must have the wind at their backs. Much more, they have David Maiko returning after 9 games out injured, their more regular goal kicker, and they've offered Maiko the opportunity to add to that 33-goal tally with this, the first penalty that Sheffield have had this afternoon. Maiko then with the penalty. and he's pushed it. He's missed. So Leeds breathe a sigh of relief. It's still 0-0.
Problem continues for the Sheffield Eagles. They really have not found a great goal kicker.
Now Mark Aston left them at the end of last season. Mark Aston, by the way, the man who scored all 10 points in the fixture against Wigan 12 months ago that Sheffield won, as I say, by 10 points to 5. That victory, one of 5 straight wins for the Eagles. It helped carry them to 6th place in the table. And Sheffield Eagles do have ambitions of their own to get into the top 8 again in the Premiership playoffs at the end of this season. But it seems a bit of a forlorn chase, although they will be watching carefully what happens to Oldham, who are in 8th place later today. That was a lovely little run from Jackson, and this now is Darren Turner playing today at loose forward.
Good play from Sheffield there. They're moving from the dummy half position. This Leeds defence a little bit slow to pick it up, and that's not the best tackling from Leeds either.
That was on the last tackle, so that will be the turnover. Good run from Broadbent it was. But Leeds, the defence standing firm, and Sini for Milo now trying to run this ball out, and now giving it to Mercer. And Leeds on course for a League and Cup double. Travelling to Don Valley today with a club record 14 consecutive wins behind them in the First Division. It really is championship form, and here is a man on the very top of his championship form, Ellery Hanley, having a wonderful season. And Jackson just wouldn't release the ball and was trying to interfere at the play of the ball.
Well, he's pretty famous for this, the hooker Jackson. Getting the hand in between there. Two fine exponents of that, Ellery Hanley and Lee Jackson.
James Lowe's the dummy half. Here's Faimilo again. Sini Faimilo, the former Widnes forward, the only ever present in this Leeds side. Now Gary Schofield looking for something else here, but the pass was overrun by Fallon. The Leeds winger couldn't get it in.
Good play from Schofield. He came from the open side, switched to the blind. He caught the defence on, but it was not the best pass. He was the second rower. Gary Mercer coming back on the inside as a dummy. They normally work it out better than that, but Fallon made a real meal of it.
Here now the French international fullback for Sheffield, that's Laurent Luchesse. Dummy half is Jackson. He gets it away to Richard Price. Price spins away from the first challenge from Lowe's, but couldn't get away from Hanley. Jackson on his own from dummy half this time, taking them on and making good yards too, up to the halfway line.
Well, that's surprising me, Eddie, the way that the Leeds defends the two-man marker to play the ball. They're both going the same way. They've got to sort that out.
Lovely run here from Turner, the loose forward, and it had to be a tackle from George Mann that pulled him to ground. This now Ryan Sheridan. Sheridan coming up with a couple of pieces of magic against Hull last time we saw them, and he fed Price then. It's the last tackle for Sheffield. Sheridan again, so close, lovely ball. Broadbent gets it away to Jackson. Leeds trying to snuff this attack out. The kick across field was from Jansen, and Cummins picks it up.
Did well then, did Cummins. The nice little kick, desperation right into the corner. The young winger, he'd read it well.
Bad ball that from Mann. He gave the possession back to Sheffield Eagles. Richard Price was the man on the intercept. Leeds panicking a bit under all this pressure from the Eagles. Here's the big second rower, Keith Senior.
They're just not tackling at all. They're forgetting to go low.
Jackson pops it up into the arms of Sheridan again. The little man looking to conjure something up. Gets it back to Mick Cook. Mick Cook looks for Jackson, bounces off him. This now is Ian Hughes, and this Leeds defence is under intense pressure. Jackson again. Broadbent's the runner, and Broadbent going for the post. Being hauled back by 4 Leeds defenders. That's how close the Eagles are. Sheridan again. Lovely little kick through, but straight into the arms of Alan Tate. And he gracefully will run the ball out, and Leeds now must hold on for 6.
Superb positioning from the fullback, Alan Tate, there. He read that well. He anticipated the kick coming through. You can't get any better than that. Superb play.
Well, a bright start from these two sides. Leeds certainly know here in the opening 8.5 minutes that they're in for a battle royal if it keeps up like this.
They have a lot of problems in their defence, and I'm sure their coach, Dougie Lawton, will have a few words sent out to them. They are just not going low enough.
I'm sorry, Steve, I mentioned the fact that so many of the Leeds supporters had come over here, but at the moment, it's the Eagles supporters that you can hear, and they're watching this run from Laurent Luchesse.
Well, they've had plenty to cheer about. I'm saying about this defence, it's very slow. They're just not getting themselves organised.
Sochi, the crossfield run. Here now is Linton Stott. 0-0, 9 minutes gone. Mick Cook, what a servant this fellow's been for the Sheffield Eagles club. 33 years old, captain of the Premiership winning side in 1992. Sheridan won for the future, finds Hughes. That looked forward to Broadbent. Referee says play on. This is Turner. Turner's taking them all on himself, but Fallon, the man who had to come in and cut him down.
And it's a good job. They've got to lead by the example there from Fallon. Poor and all tackle saved the day, but they are just going through this defence like butter.
Could have been a penalty given there against Cassini for Milo. Here's the drive for the line, and they're over. Sheffield have a dream start from Ryan Sheridan, and Leeds cannot believe it. Sheridan with the try. Sheffield have a 4-point lead. Is history going to repeat itself 12 months on?
What a start for the underdogs. Superb run. And the little halfback, Ryan Sheridan, look at the strength there. Don't know sure that he went a little bit short, but the referee, Russell Smith, gave it. He first grounded it, I would say, a couple of inches short of that whitewash. But as far as the referee's concerned, Russell Smith, he's given it. Keep your eye out now. Look how he ducks under. And I think that ball went short. Whoa, centimetres in it. Good positioning by Russell Smith.
He took a bang, did Ryan Sheridan, as he got that ball down, the under-21 international. But now David Maiko with the chance to get himself off the mark. The rain is streaming down. You can probably see it in the background as Maiko takes the kick and finds the mark this time. And Sheffield have what many people would believe is an unlikely lead, 6 points to 0.
This was a big problem, and to lead up to this, look at all those defenders. They're just on their way back, very slow to get themselves sorted out. And from this quick play, the ball, watch how Sheridan goes through it. You can see how they're bunched. They move in, they allow him the chance, and that's well taken.
Sheridan's try then, he's fully recovered from the knock he took, and the referee, Russell Smith, in perfect position to adjudicate on the legality of the try, and it's 6 points to 0 to the Sheffield Eagles. Shock start for Leeds. Their winning sequence in the big league, 14 wins in a row, began with a 30 points to 18 home win over Sheffield last October. Is the run about to come to an end?
Well,
the way Sheffield have started, anything's possible.
It sure is. They'll have nothing better, the Sheffield Eagles, to knock off the tall poppies. And I just got the impression that the way that Leeds started, they were so full of confidence, maybe too confident. But you've got to start tackling.
Linton Stott with a great run. They're all after him, the Leeds defence, but they've not got him down properly. It's play on. A great run from Stott, and Alan Tate had to get up off the ground and tackle him a second time. Sheridan to Richard Price. Luchesse has chimed into the line, the Frenchman. A penalty to Sheffield under the sticks, offside against Leeds. Steve-O, Leeds at the moment are in disarray.
They just do not know what's happening out there. Here's the run. It was wonderful play by the winger. Linton Stott really pinned the ears back. They went over the top of him. He was not tackled. Good play on there from referee Russell Smith. But they're just scragging at them, Leeds. They are not going down low. They are not going for the legs. And they are paying the price. And to be quite fair, I think Leeds will be quite happy to have given away a penalty, because they were all at sea in their defence.
Wonderful run from Linton Stott, got them into this situation. Referee Russell Smith allowed Sheffield the opportunity to play on and see if any advantage was forthcoming. When it wasn't, he blew for the penalty, bang in front of the sticks. And Maiko makes no mistake. Well, this scoreline will be reverberating round the big league just now. 8 points to 0. The Eagles ahead.
This is the reason why they got it. They were well offside. They had not made any attempt to retire the 10. As Eddie said, referee Russell Smith allowing the advantage. Nice to see referees using that these days. But Leeds, they really do have to sort themselves out. They have stopped talking to each other. I think I get the general impression that they're complaining to each other rather than lifting their own spirits.
So the kickoff lands in the arms of Jackson, and he says to Keith Senior, have another run. And Senior takes Sheffield up to the edge of their own quarter. The rain is pouring down, despite the fact that the sun is shining here at Don Valley. It certainly is not shining at the moment on Leeds, but on an excellent opening 14.5 minutes from the Sheffield side.
There again, Eddie, we see that they run from the dummy half, and both the markers are going the same way again.
Richard Price gets the ball out wide to Stott, and Stott fancied his chances on taking Schofield on low down, but Schofield, like a good soccer fullback, just stabbed it out.
That'll be deemed that Schofield played at the ball, and he certainly did. That means it's head and feed to the Sheffield Eagles. But once again, we see them just skirting on the outside. They really are running hot, especially this guy, Linton Stott.
Yes, Stott scored tries in 4 consecutive games in January and February. And Sheffield Eagles really have started like a house on fire. They're desperate to qualify for those premierships again. Currently in 9th spot. They're just behind Oldham, but they have played a game more, and Oldham are 8th. That's about the only position in the top 8 that is up for grabs. But the other 7 above them, they really have cemented their places in the premierships already.
There was a better tackle there from Richard Ayres. Another good tackle from the prop forward, SNE for Milo.
Sheridan, lovely kick through. And Alan Tate just watched it. And that will be a tap on the Leeds quarter.
Well, they're really running hot, aren't they? You see Tate covers it, doesn't touch it. That means it'll be on the quarter tap to the Leeds side. And boy, oh boy, don't they need possession badly.
Well, they are second in the table behind Wigan Leeds. They are cup semi-finalists on course for a league and cup double. But my word, if they were to slip up here at the Don Valley Stadium, and Gary Mercer there hanging on to the jersey of Soji, trying to milk the penalty from Russell Smith, who would have none of it. But if they were to slip up here at Don Valley, it would be a huge fillip to the Wigan side, who are currently top of the table.
Well, we knew that Sheffield would be the underdog. So many injuries, so many changes to their side. And forcing the pass again is Leeds. Well, it's just not good football, both in attack and defence. Look at all the heavy traffic there. You can't try to get the ball away. There's no chance that Richie Ayres could see a man in support.
Lee Jackson appealing to referee Russell Smith to award Eagles the penalty, but Russell Smith saying play on. And here is Jackson now taking on Gary Mercer. But Mercer this time penalised for use of the elbow on the grounded Sheffield Eagles hooker.
Well, he made the tackle, and you can see it going down there. That's just total lack of discipline. Okay, they're looking a frustrated side. But they can't afford to do this, because the longer they keep in this rut, the better it is for the Sheffield Eagles side, who are running hot and full of confidence.
So Gary Mercer penalised, and David Maiko with another opportunity. Got that wind at his back. It's only just inside the Leeds half of the field, this kick. 2 from 3 for Maiko. 8-0 to Sheffield. And this would take the Eagles into double figures if he lands it. And not only did he miss it, but he did not get the ball dead. And so Iro is able to run it out for Leeds. Not the best kick in the world from David Maiko.
Got up very shakily as well in the centre, Kevin Iro. Could have caught a bad knock there. That would be an extra blow to this Leeds outfit. They lost Iro.
Here's their inspiration, Ellery Hanley. 37 tries this season for the Great Britain coach. This now is Assini for Milo, the Kiwi. Tosses the ball back to nobody in particular, and James Lowes was able to pick up the pieces. Iro not yet joining this attack. He's still a bit groggy. That's going to be play on. It bounced off a Sheffield Eagles player. The referee has not wiped the tackle count down. It's still on the last tackle, and Luchesse diffuses the bomb behind his own line. And so Sheffield now looking to play it quickly with a tap on their own 20-metre mark.
Leeds are in the wars. Richie Ayres now down, having treatment. Already Kevin Iro is limping around the field. There's Richie Ayres coming back into the position.
And James Lowes now is flat out. Lowes gingerly picking himself up to his feet. A long, hard season, perhaps beginning to take its toll. This team has played on almost unchanged for quite some time. It's a great boost and a bonus to any coach, you can say, same again. That's what Dougie Lawton's been saying of late. But it's a rough, tough game, this. Now Soji. Iro doing the tackling. Last tackle here for the Sheffield Eagles. Sheridan and Price, who will try the drop goal. And he's found the mark. Richard Price increases the lead by 1. 9-0 now, Sheffield Eagles lead. They're just chipping away at this Leeds side.
The Price is certainly right. He had all the time in the world. That is a wonderful taken one-pointer, and that could prove very vital late in this match.
First one-pointer of the season for Richard Price. Midway through the first half. Perhaps the shock of the season on the way. Senior will run the ball back for Sheffield Eagles. Remember, we saw them 2 weeks ago at Hull, and they really did drive a nail into Hull's coffin in terms of trying to avoid relegation. Are they going to hamper Leeds in their quest for the title? A huge possession count in Sheffield's favour. Broadbent with that run, tackled by Hanley. As I say, Hanley is the Great Britain coach, and his assistant, Gary Hetherington, of course, is the coach at Sheffield. Now that's dangerous, and that now is not allowed.
I think we could find the second rower, Gary Mercer, should I say. Well, we can do without that. That is very dangerous indeed. Fortunate that the head didn't hit the ground. Now, I think this is going to be a public warning, and I think that the referee will now ensure that the Rugby League view the video of that incident. So it will be an official caution.
Yes, it is. He's brought the two captains together. The touch judge is there as well, and Mercer. And you'll see in a moment, I think, the referee put his hands above his head with clenched fists. There it is. That goes before the board of directors later this week to view, and this is the incident they'll see.
The intent was definitely there. The clutch underneath, spinning right over the top. Well, it's a frustrating day for Leeds so far. A bright start, the first 3 or 4 minutes, they really did look the part, but they've just fallen apart now.
Broadbent and Familo tangling as Broadbent got to his feet. McCook, the prop forward, playing the ball quickly after he got to his feet to Jackson, and then it's taken on by Hughes. Referee Russell Smith just having a glance at his touch judge. Hughes managed to keep hold of the ball. Sheridan to Price.
But look how the defence is hanging back. They're frightened to move forward. They're not moving up with confidence. And Sheffield are getting over that advantage line with ease.
Mark Ganson unloads the ball brilliantly to Jackson. And Jackson taking them on now. Jackson want to play it quickly. They're in trouble again, Leeds defensively. Broadbent. That's the last tackle. The Leeds defence held firm on that occasion, but only just. They were on thin ice, and the ice was creaking underneath them there.
It was a neat little pass from Ryan Sheridan to the big prop forward, Broadbent. It was well worth taking the risk on the last tackle because they know that Leeds are going to be caught in their own quarter.
Sheffield called for moving off the mark as they play the ball. Markers have got to stand square. They didn't. And the referee, Russell Smith, again waited to see whether Leeds made any territorial advantage and then blew the whistle.
Well, Leeds now have to just roll up the sleeves and get through some hard work, hard yakka, build their confidence, not do anything silly, not trying to be too fancy either.
Milo with that run, Leeds again in the Sheffield half of the field, but look at the work that Leeds are having to do in comparison to Sheffield. It's almost twice as many tackles that Leeds have had to make that Sheffield have had to make in the opening 24 here. And that could also take its toll later on in the game as fitness perhaps begins to tell. Here's Hanley, who will never stop. He's dropped the ball though. That's a knock on. It was not stolen from him, and Hanley's furious with that decision.
Well, I'm not so sure that it wasn't. I think Lee Jackson's arm came down. You'll notice it's dragging the ball away. I think the impact of it, but the backs were turned to the referee. There you see it quite clearly that Lee Jackson bounced it down. Difficult one for referees these days.
Richard Price for Sheffield. Jackson the dummy half. This now is Mick Cook. 25 minutes gone. Broadbent again taking it up for the Eagles, wrestled to the floor by James Lowes. And handling errors creeping up, I'm afraid, for Leeds. But they've got the ball back there. And here is George Mann.
That was a bad mistake from Ryan Sheridan. He wanted to get the ball away before he actually received it. Took his eyes well and truly off it.
Mercer now. Tackling, although over the top came Maiko. Referee saying that Maiko was committed to the challenge. It wasn't a flop. This is Schofield. Gets it away to Iro. But Iro standing still and was forced back by Sodji. Lowes. This is Richiers trying to inject some pace. Good chase again by Sodji. Last tackle here for Leeds. And they're going to run it with Iro. Iro with a little clip over the top. Luches is there. Luches catches it in the field of play and will run it out and makes 20 metres.
That was a nothing kick from Kevin Iro. You saw the referee Russell Smith tell the two Leeds players who were stood in front of the kicker that they were offside. Luches had all the time in the world to take that.
This Sheffield Eagles side are running riot. Ryan Sheridan's having a heck of a game. Look at the yards they've made, and we're still very early in the tackle count.
It's like tissue paper is this Leeds defence at the moment.
Sheridan. This now Keith Senior. Through one tackle, Senior with all the strength, and he was just held up by Tate, but he lost the ball. A great tackle in the end then from Alan Tate.
Well, the second row just went through the defence again. They really are having a field day, this Sheffield side. And Alan Tate, he must be wondering what on earth has happened to the guys up front. They're just not getting their tackles away.
So Jim Fallon now looking for his 19th try of the season, and his next will be his 50th in Leeds colours, and he's got the penalty.
Interference there, Jim Fallon not being able to play the ball. Just a little push there from Richard Price. Enough to convince the referee, Russell Smith. But Sheffield, they really are on song. They're building in confidence even more, and Leeds look totally lost.
Holroyd and Faimilo. The tackle was by the loose forward Darren Turner, who was complaining about something and looking to the touch judge for some support, but there was none forthcoming. And now Leeds have a penalty.
Sheffield were offside, and that's pretty high as well from David Maiko. But Russell Smith allowed the play on. The advantage was not to Leeds, so that's why the penalty was given. Sheffield did not get back to 10.
Keith Senior is down and receiving treatment, so Sheffield Eagles at the moment have 12 men defending this attack. Senior now hobbling his way back, but will it be too late? Richie Ayres, good tackling though by Lee Jackson. Leeds close for the first time with Lowe's and in. First real attack from Leeds, and they come up with the 4. And that surely should give them the kick up the backside they need. James Lowe's with his 3rd try of the season.
Gritty play from the hooker there. For once, the Sheffield defence didn't mark a dummy runner. It was a superb run there from the hooker. James Lowe's, all the strength. Then you see for once, Jackson had just done 2 tackles previous to that. Couldn't stop him. Well played and well picked out. There you can see the defence. It was very slow. Jackson, as I say, had done just 2 tackles before that. He never moved in the second marker.
James Lowe's with the try then, the former Hunslet halfback. Just 2 tries before that, but his last against Salford finished a length of the field handling move that has been typical of Leeds' season so far. Now you'll notice that Graham Holroyd's on the verge of quite a personal milestone here. He needs this for 100 goals for the season for the 2nd year in a row. He's hit the 3-figure mark, and Leeds have hit the 6-point mark. That's more important to him on a day like this. Sheffield 9, Leeds 6.
You can see Lee Jackson in the second marker. He's supposed to move on that small arrow. He didn't, he just stayed back. And I'm afraid that's the reason why he could cut back inside. You've got to cut them down. They failed to do it. And the hooker, James Lowe's, puts Leeds back into the game. And it could not have come at a better time for this Leeds outfit.
Linton Stott then restarts, half an hour gone, and Leeds are back in the hunt. And what's more, Doug Lawton has made a change. On has come Neil Harmon, and off has gone Isini Faimilo. So that's prop forward for prop forward. Doug Lawton just shuffling the pack, and here is Harmon. Good ball. On one knee, he got that away. James Lowe's takes the battle up to the halfway line.
Well, it's obvious that Coach Dougie Lawton wants someone on there that's willing to work. I'm afraid Pamilo's work rate in the opening minutes wasn't all that good. They'll certainly get it from Neil Harmon.
Hanley, they took the dummy, did Sheffield, and they managed to get the pass away, but Kane couldn't bring the ball in. Doug Lawton watching anxiously from the sideline. The referee has ruled the knock-on.
But why on earth did the skipper, Ellery Hanley, try to get the ball away in an impossible situation? That's about the 3rd occasion that Leeds are trying to force the pass in heavy traffic. It's just not on.
Luches gets to his feet eventually. Here's Gamson on the halfway line. 3 haul him down. Jackson again. Broadbent takes it on. Really has had a big season, Broadbent, for Sheffield. That ball bouncing all over the place, but it went backwards. Richard Price gets away with it. The International Player of the Year at dummy half. This now is Ian Hughes. Jackson again there. Here's Sheridan. Hughes. Nowhere for Linton Stott to go. Craig Innes was right behind him.
Read it well, didn't he, the Kiwi? Beautiful tackle. Oh, good position.
Yes, Sheridan's kick, and Cummings read it perfectly. Now Alan Tate to try and run the ball out.
Nice little kick through. Sheridan tempting fate. I'm afraid that Francis Cummings was in a good position.
Fallon was being swung round then by Soji, and it flattered into the face of a Sheffield Eagles player. Try to check who it is. I think it might be Linton Stott.
See Soji take it through. Yeah, he caught it fair and square in the face then. It was an accident, but he's still out for the count.
Referee has pulled Sheffield Eagles back. I think he has ruled the forward pass, is it?
Well, it was an interception there, and I don't know what the ruling is. It's totally confused me.
By the way, it wasn't Linton Stott who was hit in that earlier incident. He's over there on the field, and he thought he was away for the try.
Looks like David Maiko to me. Is it?
No, there's Maiko, the dummy half. Darren Turner, the loose forward it is, who is being helped off the field. And so Carl Randall has come on for Turner. It was a wicked collision, totally accidental. Darren Turner really is groggy at the minute. Took a nasty bang. This, meanwhile, is Paul Broadbent.
That's a bitter blow to Sheffield, because Darren Turner, loose forward, was playing exceptionally well.
Good run. Great run from Hughes. He stretches the arm out. He's got the try. I think Alan Tate's complaining it was double movement, but the arm kept coming over and over and over, and Hughes touched it down. Look at the smile on his face. That tells 1,000 words for the story.
Well, the second rower did exceptionally well. Ball back on the inside. Alan Tate may well complain that it was a double movement, but he should be complaining that the Leeds players didn't bother tackling. Pretty scrappy in the end. Either way, the referee Smith gave it. But look at the attempts there. Not one is going low, and given the opportunity, well, we'll see better from this side. Back inside from Sheridan. It was a good switch of play. They all going patsy-patsy instead of tackling correctly. Well, it's given. Pretty hard to decide whether he had control of that. I think he lost it first time. Second go, he got it right.
Well, it's a try, and Ian Hughes, the former East Leeds amateur, who joined the Eagles in 1991 and made his debut that year as a 19-year-old, has pushed Sheffield further ahead, and the kick from Maiko turns Hughes 4 into an Eagles 6. And look at that scoreline again, 15 points to 6.
Look at the mess in defence there. 3 men gathered around. Soon as the switch came back, look at the acres of space. They're standing back. 2 Leeds players caught. Result, another shock try.
Ian Hughes with the try. Perhaps an element of controversy about it, but the referee Russell Smith was perfectly placed to make the judgment. Despite the pressure from Tate and the Leeds defence, make his decision he has.
Oh, he got a bad knee there from Jim Fallon.
And the referee wants a word with the Leeds winger.
He could go for this. You can see Fallon there bring the left knee. And it wouldn't surprise me if the winger is sent off. You can see there, it was a deliberate movement of the left leg. The pain on the face of the hooker, Lee Jackson.
Well, the referee wants a word with him. He's not brought Hanley towards him. I think it's just a telling off.
Well, it's a deliberate movement of the leg there. He's a lucky boy in my book. Watch it. That's deliberate. And Jackson, fair and square in the ribs. Well, he's a lucky boy, and this guy's a painful one.
Breathing hard, Jackson. It's obviously taken the wind right out of his sails. Eagles captain Darryl Powell, of course, has been out for a wee while. And Jim Fallon having the words of Russell Smith ringing in his ears. The Sheffield restart on the halfway line. There's Carl Randall. Scored his first ever Eagles try against Hull on Sky a couple of weeks ago, you may remember. Broadbent.
They're working hard, the Sheffield forwards, especially Broadbent and Jackson. They really are making good ground. So's this fella as well, Ian Hughes.
Was thinking about perhaps releasing the pass, but instead thought better of it. Mick Cook is the dummy half. He made his name really here in South Yorkshire as a hooker, did Mick Cook, so that's no stranger to that position for the Eagles. Sheridan now, and Maiko. Fallon had moved in off the wing, and Sodji had acres ahead of him. Here's Sheridan again, little dab through from Sheridan, pandemonium again in that Leeds defence, and George Mann picks up the ball and says, let's defuse this situation.
He had to be there as well. Ryan Sheridan is really pestering this Leeds defence. Beautiful little chip through. There's the prop forward, Mick Cook. He's worked hard also, but it was superb play from Ryan Sheridan. He's tormenting Leeds today.
Yes, he is. I don't know about an eagle. He's like a little gnat, isn't he? And the Leeds defence just can't swat him, can't get rid of him. A gnat. You don't get those in Dewsbury. Here's Lauren Luchesse. Randall now, the substitute. Sheffield ending this half as they have played almost the full 40 minutes on the attack and examining this Leeds defence with Mick Cook. Mick Cook, they stood off him. And again, the Eagles are so close to the line. Jackson's fully recovered now. Price helps it on to Sheridan on. Ian Hughes dropped it, and Gary Schofield breathed a big sigh of relief that he did.
He had to, it was try time. Wasn't the best pass, it was a little bit low. Created the gap. Hughes knew that it was another 4-pointer. All he had to do was collect it. He didn't. Leeds off the hook.
Here's Mercer. Gary Mercer taking on Sodji, who has been impressive with his defensive work this afternoon already, the Sheffield Eagles winger. Schofield, the dummy half. Now Harmon, wanting to get on with it quickly. Maiko was all over him. Holroyd, bit anonymous in the first half. Holroyd, take to Iro, over the top from Iro to Innes.
I think that's the first time that we've seen a pass to the centre, Craig Innes. And that's all down to this Sheffield defence. They're running very quickly out wide.
There's Holroyd again with the kick, and he finds touch. Head and feet to Sheffield, though.
Kick through. Didn't touch any Sheffield player. And that's about the only thing that Leeds have been doing right, is that little short grubber kick into touch. They're not being allowed to get any moves underway. A tigerish defence from Sheffield.
Linton Stott picks himself up.
Well, I think there'll be a few harsh words said from Mr. Dougie Lawton to the Leeds side.
I'm sure he'll be anxious to get them in the dressing room and talk to them. Tell them that they really need to pick up the pace second half if their championship ambitions are to be intact at the end of this afternoon at the Don Valley. I said it was a crucial afternoon ahead of us, and so it's proving to be. Little clip over the top, Fallon's after him. Now, what would Leeds give for a Jim Fallon special?
Did well there, did the winger. Used all his weight and speed. A little bit more determination. You can see on the face there of Craig Innes. That's what they need in the second half, I'll tell you.
Schofield, long ball out to Iro. Iro trying to shrug them off again. Sodji sticks to him like glue. A little bit of help also from David Maiko. Now, Holroyd. And he conjures something up here at the end of this first half. Wonderful tackle. Ian Hughes. There's the siren. That's half-time. What a half for Sheffield Eagles. Ryan Sheridan has tormented this Leeds defence. And the Eagles have come up with 2 super tries. Ian Hughes, the last of them. Perhaps an element of controversy about it. But Dougie Lawton heading for the dressing room here at Don Valley, and he will be anxious to get in there and talk to his Leeds side. Champions-elect, well, they've had to play second fiddle here at Don Valley this afternoon so far. The Eagles ahead, 15-6. So perhaps the most vital 40 minutes of the season lies ahead for Leeds at the top of the Stones Bidder Championship. They quite simply don't lose here at Don Valley, but they're trailing by 15 points to 6 at half-time as Sheffield get this second half underway. And Gary Mercer with the first run of the second half. Now, Leeds have got the best sequence in the game at the moment of 9 consecutive league and cup wins behind them since they lost to Castleford in the Regal Trophy. But that record is being tested to the limit here this afternoon. And Doug Lawton knows that this 40 minutes could make or break Leeds' championship season.
Well, he's the man that could probably lead him to a victory today. Ellery Hanley inspirational leader. And you can see straight away that the words of their coach Doug Lawton obviously is working. A lot more effort has been shown there in the 5 drives.
Diagonal kick from Holroyd, but it bounces kindly for the Eagles. And David Maiko picks it up.
Did well, did Maiko there. Right, Sodji making it very difficult for Kevin Iro.
The difference, I think, between the two sides, Steve-O, in that first half, Broadbent and the Sheffield Eagles forwards, they were hitting the passes at pace. Leeds were standing and waiting for the ball to come to them.
Well, that's been the problem with Leeds. Their defence has not moved forward. They've allowed Sheffield to get into it. You can see there it's a much better straight line and moving as one unit on that occasion, and that's what was missing in the first half. It was paper thin at times.
They've showed us only glimpses of the form that has brought 458 points in winning their last 14 matches in the First Division. It's an average of 33 per game. My, how they would love to hit their average here today and secure these 2 vital points. The word from the Leeds bench is that they should control the ball for 6 tackles and then get their kicking game into full use.
Well, he's got him for holding down. David Maiko making a real meal of that. Well, it's just what Leeds need.
Neil Harman, that's a better run from the Leeds substitute. This now is George Mann. George Mann with a try in the last 4 Leeds games. How he would love one today. Holroyd with no one particularly in support. Here's Harman again. Lows the dummy half to Schofield. Richier's picked up pace to take that ball. It's certainly a better opening to this second half for Leeds with Innes. Support is there from Cummins. Linton Stott stood his ground. Last tackle here for Leeds. Schofield, diagonal kick, and Hughes just managed to pick it up, and he didn't knock on.
Did well with his feet there, the second rower Hughes. And a lot more enterprise from the Leeds outfit. A nice option there from Gary Schofield, but the second rower was equal to the task.
Well, we've already heard what the Leeds bench have been saying. Apparently the Sheffield bench have been saying just to play same again in this second half, and quite simply don't underestimate the threat of this Leeds side. Words from their coach, Gary Hetherington.
Leeds really have to try and shut down Ryan Sheridan. He's controlling everything.
There is the kick from Sheridan.
He really is running the show, tormenting the life out of Leeds.
Now Jim Fallon, but he was quickly closed down, couldn't get up ahead of steam. George Mann to Alan Tate. Tate has chimed into the line. Nick Cook doing the tackling there. Now Mercer looking round for support. Schofield. Good ball from Schofield to Richiers. Richiers spinning with the ball in the left arm, thinking about releasing the pass, but it was well done by Gamson, who would not be put off. Here's Neil Harman. Woof! Big collision with Hughes. And he gets the ball away to Cummins, and Cummins is on his way. Cummins for the corner, and Cummins scores! A great start to this second half by Leeds. Breathtaking try from Francis Cummins. One of the brightest young talents in the game. The England international, his 14th try of the campaign, and a priceless ball.
Spectacular finish by the winger, but it was this wonderful pass from Neil Harman round the corner. He took it well. It's probably only his second pass that this fella's got all day, but the in and out, that is sheer skill. Francis Cummins at his best, but look at the round the corner pass here. Upper body strength, reaches out on the inside. Sheridan could do nothing with it. Neither could the Frenchman. Le Chus was in and out, caught napping. Wonderful try, wonderful skills. Great to see a forward. Look at the strength there, round the corner. Let's get away from this. Inside, sends Sheridan the wrong way. In and out. As soon as the fullback hesitates, he knows he's got the speed.
Great try from Cummins. Went to the World Sevens, of course, did Francis Cummins in February. And now, if ever there's a moment for Graham Holroyd to kick one off the touchline, this is it. And he's done it too. Leeds are back on course. They have the fillip of the early 6 points.
There you can see how he goes inside, and as soon as the fullback hesitates, the youngster has got the speed. Great to watch.
Yes, Francis Cummins, a precocious talent. The youngest ever Wembley finalist, of course, last season. He hopes to be back there again this season. And he punctuated his appearance beneath the Twin Towers with a spectacular try, you might remember. That was a spectacular try too, in totally different circumstances. A try that might yet put Leeds back on course for the title.
That's got to be a penalty.
Second snap at the ankles by Mark Gamson.
Yeah, you can see Gamson there, this ender just pulling back down. Well, he's injected a lot more fire into the pack as Neil Harmon since he came on.
Here's Harmon again. They're looking for him every time when they play the ball quickly. Looking for the runner, and the runner is Harmon virtually every time. Now Holroyd to Schofield. Back inside to Ayres. That was a good ball, and it was well watched by Randall.
Well, the idea was good, but I'm afraid Ayres was far too early. He should have come a little bit later than that and made sure that Schofield's inside pass worked.
Tate so close, and Tate held up. One round the ankles, two round the shoulders. Mick Cook and Sheridan were there to keep him out. The last tackle here for Leeds. They just delayed, and what's more, they delayed fatally, and they've conceded the penalty. They didn't play it properly, says Russell Smith.
And they moved off the spot. You'll see him move away. He took a step to the side. Took an eternity to get on with it. Players cannot be the boss, no matter whistleblower it is. A bad loss there. Silly penalty to give away at a vital time.
Cook trying to keep the legs pumping. He makes a few more vital meters. He is Randall, the Sheffield substitute. Incidentally, some news from the Sheffield Eagles camp. Gary Hetherington has signed Kyle White from Workington Town, and he will join the club tomorrow. They were hoping to have him available for selection today, but Workington wanted one more game from him. And so Kyle White will join Sheffield Eagles tomorrow, the Australian forward. Certainly trying to strengthen this team and launch a serious attack, Steve-O, from South Yorkshire on the Premiership next season.
Well, they've made some pretty good buys, and they usually get them at a bargain price too. They've really only splashed out for Lee Jackson, haven't they? Good play there by Soji. Really got away with it as well.
Alan Tate, he's running down a blind alley briefly, then decided to apply the brakes and turn round and run straight. Leeds still behind on the scoreboard, but they look more like potential champions in the opening 10 minutes of this half than they did throughout the entire 40 minutes of the first. But Sheffield still with the three-point advantage, not over yet by a long chalk this match, and Mann will carry the battle up front for Leeds. Last tackle for Leeds. They're still deep inside their own half. Good stint this by Sheffield Eagles. The kick from Holroyd into the arms of Linton Stott.
It was a poor kick as well from Holroyd. He has the strong wind behind him. Why he kept it on a low trajectory is beyond me. He really should be reefing that ball high and into the corner.
Bishesh plays the ball. Jackson finds Sheridan, and he in turn finds Senior. Senior grounded 10 metres inside the Leeds half. Broadbent now. Off the floor, he gets it to Price. Price looks for support, it's there from Sheridan. Sheridan gets it back to Gamson, and Gamson straightens things up.
Nice angle running from Sheffield there. Once again, Sheridan coming to the fore.
Jackson hanging on. Price coming to support. This now is Gamson. Back to Broadbent. Out further wide to Hughes, who again straightens up down the middle, takes Hanley and Ayres on. That's the last tackle, and the Eagles are 10 metres short with Sheridan. They've got a man out wide here, Randall. Randall's looking for Stubb, and Stubb drops it. A Leeds player got a hand to it, and he managed to push the ball out of the way.
Well played there. Well played, though, by the substitute, Randall, trying to get it away. Cummins took the gamble for the intercept. It didn't come off, and our stop didn't reef that in. It was a gift 4 points. What a gamble from the youngster.
Referees played the first knock on by Cummins. It's Sheffield's head and feet at the scrum. More pressure on this Leeds line. Luchette with a run. Well, Sheffield have picked up the pace again. Darting little run to the posts. And here's Sheridan, and Randall drops it. Big sigh of relief from the terraces from the Leeds supporters as Tate runs the ball out.
What a tackle from the centre, Craig Innes. That was crunch time.
Cummins driven into the ground. The Leeds really have shed their poor away record this season. They've won 8 and lost just 2 of their 10 matches away from Headingley in the First Division. But my word, they have rarely been tested like this all season. Here's Hanley. Now Richie Ayres. Last tackle it is for Leeds. It's with Holroyd. He must surely give it air this time, and does. Diagonal kick too. Sodji is prepared to let the ball bounce. Took the gamble.
Nice kick in the end. Lot better option from the youngster Graham Holroyd. The previous kick was a waster. A nothing kick in the end, but he's got to use this strong wind.
Luchesse. Hanley and Lowe's and George Mann in there. Richard Price now.
Well, the problem that Leeds had in the first half is beginning to come back. You could see again there that no one was going low, they're going high. It's no good trying to prove how tough you are. You've got to get the legs first.
Mick Cook. Yes, there's 2 men there, Iro and Lowe's, deciding to take man and ball, so as Cook can't release it, but the legs keep on pumping. And here's Hughes, that's a better tackle, and it's Ellery Hanley who got it in. Price to Sheridan again. Sheridan, oh, and it bounced off a Leeds man, and Hanley picked it up. He was running back from an offside position.
Neat little kick, side of the foot from Sheridan. Well, there's nothing that Harman could do about that. I've got time to hold a board meeting. Bound straight into it.
He tried to get out of the way, didn't he? And Hanley was left with no alternative, really.
It was offside, no doubt about it, but perhaps it could have been classed as an accidental offside. Either way, it would have been a scrum.
As it is, it's a kick for goal for Sheffield. Hanley penalised for offside. Russell Smith unimpressed by the protests. And so an important kick again here for David Maiko.
Good tactics as well by Sheffield, but this man really is on fire, isn't he? Ryan Sheridan. Neat little kick there. There's nothing that Harman can do about that.
He actually tried to get out of the way, didn't he? Ball played the man rather than the other way round. So you could say this penalty award is a touch harsh. Don't worry though, Maiko will be trying to slice this over. And what's more, he has. Leeds with hands on hips and shaking of heads. They're 5 points adrift. Sheffield 17, Leeds 12. David Maiko with an important 2 points. Back after 9 games out injured. He played just 2 last season because of a broken leg. And he's taken over the goal-kicking responsibilities now that Mark Aston has departed for Featherstone Rovers. Good kick, that. Second half is a quarter of an hour old, and Sheffield have a 5-point advantage. That was Jackson with the run. That's Mick Cook, the dummy half. And here's Keith Senior.
Sheffield quite happy just to keep it tight in the forwards. They realise that as the time ticks away, it will force Leeds into playing catch-up football, taking far too many risks.
Schofield is down injured as Richard Price gets on a little run. I think Broadbent ran all over Schofield, and I think he got a stud in the leg.
In a lot of pain, a lot of agony out there. Schofield in the back play.
Jackson dabs one into empty space, takes after it, and Tate came up with the football. That was good full-back play. Now Fallon.
Pretty good stuff from Lee Jackson as well. Took a while there, he nearly caught Alan Tate out.
Leeds have got a penalty. Use of the elbow in the tackle on Fallon.
Well, they're making a quick decision now on Schofield. Will they replace him? He can't walk. He's limping away to the sideline. I think that could be the end of Gary Schofield today.
Jim Leatham is stripping off and about to come on. Schofield, of course, has been playing through the pain barrier. And that is not good play from Leeds. Ian Hughes picks it up gleefully.
Well, he got away and scored a try, didn't he, from that Harmon pass? Not on that occasion. James Lowes didn't pull it in. And Schofield now being carried away off the field.
Well, Schofield carried off and Leatham comes on, 20-year-old.
Back to 6. Ellery Hanley got his foot at the play of the ball there. Even more pressure now for Leeds.
Here's Sodji. Tackled by George Mann with a little bit of help from his captain. Price and Senior. Senior, the ball popped up. And Holroyd gratefully accepted the gift.
Poor play from the second row, the young Keith Senior.
That's first touch for Jim Leatham, by the way.
A little bit of inexperience there, run on the tight blind side when it wasn't needed.
Iro, ball round the corner looking for Innes. That's going to be back to 0 in the tackle count, surely. A Sheffield hand got in there, and it is. The referee wipes the tackle count down.
Did well, Linden stopped there, nearly plucked it out.
So this is the first tackle, and this set of 6, and there's another dangerous tackle, and Leatham is almost drilled into the ground here by Broadbent.
Well, why on earth do they want to do that? They've made the tackle. That is really stupid play.
Well, if Russell Smith put Gary Mercer on report in the first half, he must surely put Broadbent on report now.
He will. Little doubt about that. Bringing the two captains. Touch judge will run on. Be a witness to the report, but we can do without that, boys. The game is tough and rough enough without things like that.
Well, that is 2 incidents that the board of directors will have to look at this week and decide whether there's a case to answer. There's the signal. And Broadbent knows that the video will be going to Rugby League headquarters. Unlike Mercer, he will be judged on that evidence, whether there is a case to answer. Harmon with a crunching run and Hughes with a super tackle. Here's Leatham, big lad, driving the ball into within 10 metres of the line. Leeds on a roll, they all want it now. George Mann has it, and George Mann is in for 5 tries in 5 games. George Mann burst onto the pass. They looked so eager, the Leeds players, and Mann, he said, I'll have it, and he ghosted through for the try.
Neat little dummy with a beautiful switch of play. You can see he tripped up there, and that sort of got about a dummy on it. Run on the angle. What's the call? Lowes knows exactly what's happening. It was a set move. And that little trip, just hesitation there, and in he went. Super play. Dummy runner on the open side. They just hesitated. They held back. You can see quite clearly there. Ryan Sheridan was a little bit slow to pick up his man. You can't afford to do that when a big guy is running at full speed. That is a well-taken try, but you've got to look back to that problem when Paul Broadbent gave away that silly penalty and allowed Leeds the chance.
George Mann with the try. He scored one against Castleford 5 games ago now, and he simply hasn't put a foot wrong since. New Zealand international Mann, the gap now is just 1 point. It's 17-16. Holroyd with a conversion. He's hit the post. And so Leeds stay behind, but the gap now just that 1 point. The drop goal separates the two sides. Richard Price's 1 pointer.
There you see it. You can see that Ryan Sheridan is very slow to move forward. And once they do the switch, he goes through. See how Sheridan just hesitated, and that's enough.
So George Mann, the Kiwi, who was bought for the big money, £80,000 from St Helens, coming up trumps there with the 4 points. Leeds back with a vengeance here. And we're in now to the final quarter of this match, and let's take a look at the way things go. Well, Leeds, they concede plenty in this stage of the match, but they score over almost a third of their tries as well. And it's a pretty good period defensively for the Sheffield Eagles.
They do have a habit of striking back, Sheffield, with some strong power play in the last 20. They'll need it. The Leeds are gaining in confidence now, but we said early how important that 1 pointer could prove to be.
Sheffield in possession. Laurent Luchès, their French international fullback. They have recorded just 1 win in 10 league and cup meetings with Leeds. That was 31-14 here in December 1992. They did manage a 46-all draw at Headingley last April, after losing here heavily in December of 1993. It's almost uncharted territory this for Sheffield Eagles, isn't it, to be ahead of Leeds? Not the greatest record. Leeds are desperate for the 2 points to keep them in touch with Wigan at the top. Wigan today at Salford, and we'll be bringing you the highlights of that match and the highlights of all the others from the First Division after we have seen what transpires here at Don Valley.
Well taken by Jim Fallon there under a lot of pressure from Bright Sodji. The super kick from Sheridan. They're doing everything right, Sheffield. They're just using the power play in the forwards. Nothing fancy, and then opting for the kick.
Now Innes with the run, brushes one off, gets support from Lowes, and Lowes is clattered to the ground, first by Broadbent and finished off by Jackson. Hanley in a dummy half. Holroyd wanting to inject the pace. Long looping pass looking for Fallon. Wasn't the best pass. Ooh, and Fallon felt that from the centre, David Maiko.
Well, he wasn't tackled, and Maiko is allowed to go for him as soon as he takes possession. Really clattered into him. A bit of knees went through there, but perhaps the knee hit the ground first. Either way, pretty painful to Jim Fallon. Fallon, of course, penalised and quite lucky in the first half to get away with a knee incident himself.
Carl Briggs comes into the fray for Mark Gamson, who has been down receiving treatment while you watch that scrum go down after Fallon was forced into touch. So Carl Briggs at 20, he comes on. He's missed the last two. Sheffield and Leeds now with both substitutes on. There's Sheridan and there's Briggs. Senior with that run. Oh, and he gets the ball away to Luchès. Lovely attack this by Luchès. Inside to Sodji. Briggs is there. Sodji won't need him. And Sodji scores! Bright Sodji with a strong run. He simply wouldn't be stopped. And Sheffield Eagles here are blowing the championship wide apart.
Super play from Sheffield. The link was on. Sheridan, the long ball out wide. Carl Briggs is barely just onto the field. But look how good the second rower gets this ball away. Well played by the youngster senior and the fullback Luchès. And Leeds once again caught napping going high. And the strength of Bright Sodji leans over. Super try. Russell Smith in excellent position. The link was superb, but didn't he do well, the second rower? Youngster senior Luchesse goes underneath. Iro just grasping thin air. He says, get inside, Bright. He did. Super try. And Leeds are facing an uphill battle again. Look at the upper body strength there, but once again Leeds caught going high. Iro, Fallon miss. Luchesse is get inside, in French of course. Soji had his book with him, translated it well.
Bright Soji, a try against Warrington last Sunday. Former Hull Kingston Rovers winger. David Maiko now with the sun in his eyes. But he manages to squint and find the mark. And Leeds have it all to do again. David Maiko is there with the kicking for Sheffield Eagles. Terrific conversion that. And Leeds now with a 7-point advantage to make up. Holroyd restarts then. And that bounce beat Maiko. That will be a scrum on the Sheffield 10-metre mark. But what an important last quarter of an hour or so here, Steve-O, for the men from Headingley.
Certainly is. They've got back into the swing of things after an awful first half. But again, they've gone to sleep in that defence. We saw quite clearly, you can't just crack and go for the shirt collar. You've got to get the legs.
Yes, they've paid a heavy price, and here goes Luchesse. Laurent Luchesse, the man that they brought from Huddersfield, the French fullback. Sheffield are looking eager for work, aren't they? They won't shirk this one if they can possibly help it. 12 and a half minutes to go, and a vital 12 minutes for Leeds. Their championship season hinges on the next 12 minutes here.
Well, it's just a very simple game plan, and it's working well from the Eagles. Hard work in the forwards, quick play the ball, running onto it. Sheridan
That's the drop goal attempt from Briggs. And he's got it! What a drop goal from Carl Briggs, the substitute. He was only just inside the Leeds half. What's more, he's against the wind. And he clipped it. Look at this.
Gee, I wish I had a camera on your face then, Eddie. You were totally amazed by it, and I'm not surprised. Against the wind, it cleared by about 5 or 6 feet over the bar. What a one-pointer.
Well, it means that the gap now is 8 points, 24-16. Deary me, Leeds, they're looking down the barrel here. Their championship is about to be derailed. It all depends, of course, what happens at the Willows. Salford against Wigan.
Bad mistake there from Ian Hughes. But you could see that the ball was punched clear. Nothing you can do about it. Now then, is this the chance for Leeds? They've got to start scoring pretty quickly. The clock is against them.
They've got to get 2 tries in the last 11 minutes at Don Valley, and Tate looking for one. Just to remind you, before the start of play today, Leeds and Wigan had played the same number of games. Wigan were 3 points clear. They don't lose, Leeds. It's as simple as that. Look at Fallon. He wants to get on with this so quickly. Holroyd trying to skip through the defence, but that Sheffield defence has been very eager all day. And what's more, Holroyd's lost it.
Beautiful tackle by Paul Broadbent. The power. Just got the shoulder underneath the ball in the arm. And as soon as he hit the ground, that ball was always going to come out. Wasted chances again from Leeds.
Steve-O, 12 months ago, almost to the day, we were here when Sheffield beat Wigan. Remember that day, 10-5, and Mark Aston, the hero, with 10 points. But this lad, Paul Broadbent, had a big game that day, and what a match he's had here this afternoon.
Yeah, the forward pack have paved the way. That's pretty high. And referee Russell Smith will go for him. He's already been put on report as Gary Mercer, and that is very high and late. Now then,
Gary Mercer waiting anxiously to see what happens. Ian Hughes gets to his feet after the high tackle, and the referee takes Mercer to one side and calls Hanley in. Is he going for his back pocket? Gary Mercer is walking the tightrope.
Sure is. That really was a high tackle. Hughes felt it. He's a lucky boy.
And that was Hughes driving it in, first tackle for Sheffield. Here's Jackson running bravely from dummy half. He's wrestled to the ground by Lowe's.
He's had a top game. Lee Jackson led by example, calmed things down when it was getting a little bit rocky. Runs from dummy half, just confused the Leeds defence.
Look at that scoreline, look at the clock ticking down. Briggs, another drop goal! Another one-pointer! I think Leeds are dead and buried.
Well, if they're not, the nails are definitely being banged into the coffin by this substitute. Carl Briggs, it is a superb one-pointer again. Nerves of steel, calm, cool and collected. Leeds never expecting it. Put him under no pressure whatsoever.
They might have expected it. That was Carl Briggs' 7th drop goal of the season. Senior is bouncing off the tackling.
Well, they will if they go high all the time. They must have thrown the tackle bags away headedly. Bring them back, please.
Jackson to Broadbent. Been a brave effort from Broadbent and Jackson, and Doug Lawton knows, I think, that this Stones Bit of Championship is disappearing down the gurgler at Don Valley. It's one of the shocks of the season we're watching here. Unless Leeds can do something special, and Fallon makes the blunder of blunders in front of his own post, it'll be head and feed to Sheffield.
Well, it all the time in the world. It was a nice little kick through. Carl Briggs taking control. And the big winger, Jim Fallon, making a real mess of that.
Here's Briggs again. George Mann has shot out of the scrum, but it was high. Look, there's 3 of them there, and they're all allowing Briggs to keep the legs pumping. Here's Mick Cook. Price to dummy half. Sheridan to Hughes. He's got one in the first half, looking for another. Leeds this time managed to bring him down. Jackson, Sheridan, still Sheridan. Gets it away to Price. Another one-pointer, maybe, no. I think he thought about it, Richard Price. Jackson going back the other way. Briggs, long ball. Oh, Senior got a hand to that. And David Maiko knocked it on anyway.
Well, I can't understand why the Eagles opted to keep the ball alive when really the one-pointers has just been hammering the nails into the coffin. Instead of getting the ball out wide, Carl Briggs should have stood well back and opted for the 1 point.
No wonder Gary Hetherington is a bit of a fan of Summer Rugby League, Steve-O, when you remember what happened this time last year. And now with the sunshine out, we have Leeds being beaten here at Don Valley. They obviously enjoy playing with the sun on their backs here.
Leeds don't.
Oh, Ira with a blunder. Cook, and this is goodbye title Leeds. Price with the try. And Richard Price has finished Leeds off for sure now. Depending on what goes on at Salford today, you could be watching the end of Leeds Championship ambitions.
Well, they'll be cheering all the way to Wigan for this one. An awful mistake there from Kevin Iro. And Richard Price finishes off a sound game for him. Look at that. Elementary mistake, schoolboy stuff. Draws the man in. And Mr. Price. What Price leads now for the title? None.
The smile on Richard Price really says it all. Two tries in Sheffield's only win against Leeds in 1992, and a try in Leeds' defeat here at Sheffield in 1995. What a double for Richard Price. David Maiko, 5 from 7. Lining up another kick here, the Sheffield Eagles centre. And curling it in and off the post. And it's the Sheffield fans who are cheering now because Leeds are beaten. And although they've got so many had followed them here from Headingley, Leeds fans are now silent.
If you're watching in Leeds, I'm afraid, start trembling. This is the end. I hate to say it, but Sheffield have completely ripped them apart today.
And you have to credit Sheffield Eagles for that, Steve-O. Leeds, one of the glamour clubs in the First Division. But Sheffield Eagles, well, they've got top 8 ambitions of their own, and haven't they played well?
Bit of a mistake here. Second rower, Keith Senior, attempting something would have been better to have allowed to just go dead in goal. Either way, though, Leeds have no chance of coming back from this one. Can they at least give themselves a little bit of pride? Because I tell you what, you talk about Leeds not being a championship side. I think there's a few out there thought that perhaps they already were. And if they think that it's going to be easy to get to Wembley as well, a few Featherstone people will be thinking, this has been a good performance. They'll get great heart from this.
Yes, it's Leeds Featherstone in the semi-final of the Challenge Cup. And I rather fancy that David Ward, the Featherstone Rovers coach and former Leeds coach, will be one of the most interested spectators tonight. But he's watching Mercer go in now. And Mercer has come up with 4 points for Leeds. No celebrations on the pitch because they want to get on with it quickly. But surely it's come too late.
Well, we talked about at least giving themselves a bit of pride. This man has been in the wars all afternoon. He's run well. Just coasted through, didn't he? Been reported, was lucky not to be sent off for a high tackle. But that was well taken, but I'm afraid it could be far too late. But I've been proven wrong so many times. But I don't think they will have the time to do it.
Well, it's 31 points to 20 now, 31-22 if this sails over. Difficult conversion attempt from Holroyd Mine. But he's kicked one from out here before. And he's kicked another now. Well, have we written Leeds off, Steve-O, too early?
Still a long way to go.
9 points the gap. Less than 2 minutes. Gary Mercer's try, though, has at least thrown them a little lifeline. We've written them off. I'm sure that Sheffield have written them off. Leeds, perhaps they've got other ideas. We have a minute plus stoppages, and the gap's 9 points. Hanley with that run. 3 bring him down. Here's Fallon.
Look at that swarming defence from Sheffield. It's been excellent throughout today.
Holroyd to man. Suddenly Leeds are looking eager. It's too late. Leatham picks up the pieces. Skips through that tackle from Cook, but can't get away from the next from Briggs. On halfway, it's Lowe's from dummy half. Lowe's taking him on this time and making 15 metres progress. Tate to Holroyd. Holroyd still going Holroyd. Last tackle here for Leeds. Ayres, Mercer and Tate. Leatham. And that's the set of 6 complete.
Great defence there. Good tackle from Keith Senior. Forwards have worked hard. David Maiko in low. Been a key factor for Sheffield Eagles. Their tackling has been good. Always one man going low. The others coming over the top to stop the pass. Whereas Leeds, all they've wanted to do is just scrag the shirts.
Well, we've mentioned, of course, Leeds' championship ambitions that look as though now they're coming to a shuddering halt. We should also mention Sheffield's ambition of getting into the top 8. Oldham are ahead of them, They've played a game less than Sheffield. They're a point to the good before today's game. But Sheffield, perhaps crucially for them, have got 4 of their remaining matches here at Don Valley.
Well, if they play like this, they'll make it. It's been an inspired performance. Underdogs from the start. Remember, they had 6 changes.
That's right.
From
And
the
when you
team
consider
selected
also,
yesterday.
they mentioned Trace and Aston, who have departed the scene for elsewhere, and Bruce Maguire. This should be a transition season for Sheffield, not one when they're pushing for the Premiership. It's been a great effort.
Superb. Full credit to their coach, Gary Hetherington. And also the way that this pack has played. Not many frills, but they didn't need it. Good, solid, hard work. That's what's brought them their winning money today.
Good, solid, hard work like that from Maiko and Price. Now here's Innes. Innes to Iro. Iro off on one of those runs of his, gets the pass away to Hanley. But Hanley is all completely and utterly swamped. Lowe's now to George Mann, to Iro again, ball back inside, Hanley pops it up off the ground, no try, there's the siren, it's all over, and Leeds, their players hold their heads in their hands. They know that this could be the end of their championship. Bright Soji with a try in the second half, one of 2 tries that Sheffield scored. And little Ryan Sheridan, he played so well against Hull just 2 weeks ago on Sky, and he has conjured up another superb performance here. Sheffield have won 31 points to 22, and Leeds look in danger of dropping out of the championship race now. Here at Don Valley, Sheffield have won by 31 points to 22. It was an excellent effort, 4 tries apiece, but the goal kicking of Maiko and the drop goals from Briggs and Price proving conclusive in the end. Quite a day then for Sheffield and their coach, Gary Hetherington. Gary, it's no wonder you're a fan of summer rugby, because the sun comes out and Sheffield produce some scintillating performances.
Well, Eddie, the sun shines on the righteous, and it's been a funny week for us this week, but it's been a good week, and today has been remarkable. Out of adversity comes triumph, and we've had so many key players missing, and then lost Paul Carr at training yesterday and John Glancy this morning. Drafted a lot of young players in, but there's no doubt the tremendous spirit among the players and a lot of ability. And we're completely frustrated. Leeds are a very good side that's been going well. We knew all where the strengths were. The players have prepared really well this week to try and thwart Leeds, and I thought we did a marvellous job on them.
You did a marvellous job, as you did 12 months ago to Wigan when you beat them here 10-5. Where does this performance today stand in relation to that? Because I know that was top of the tree for you 12 months ago.
It was, and I think this has got to go one better, primarily because of the team that we turned out. And as I said, so many key players missing, and so many players came of age today. I mean, Ryan Sheridan really looked a class act at 18 years old. Carl Briggs had about the same, and Keith Senior playing his first ever game in the second row, 18 years old. So a lot of our players have come of age today, and to be able to take on a mighty team like Leeds and beat them very well in almost every department, naturally we're very pleased about it.
Now, I know that you're not particularly interested in the championship. You're more concerned with the top 8, but you have really dented Leeds' hopes, haven't you?
Yes, I think Wigan always looked as though they were going to win it, but of course Leeds have done a great job in keeping it a 2-horse race. But now I would say that certainly Leeds can concentrate on the cup.
And as far as you're concerned, you're concentrating on the top 8. It's a top 8, Gary, really, when you think of who you lost in the summer and the young kids that you've had to draft in, that you shouldn't even be thinking about. But here you are, you could be involved in it again.
Yes, well, this season's been one of getting us house in order, and it certainly proved to be that, and also developing a lot more young players. And once again, I'm very pleased with the progress of all those players. So yes, if at the beginning of the season, top 8 was a realistic target, and if we're going to eventually achieve it, then I'll be delighted, and I think it'll be a marvellous effort on behalf of all the players.
Lee Jackson, what is it about this time of the year with the Sheffield Eagles side? Because 12 months ago you beat Wigan and almost knocked them off the championship.
Well, I don't know. We knew it was a critical part of the season, and we need the wins to try and get in that top 8. And well, like you say, it's the same as Wigan last year, and we just knuckled down.
With 3 players gone in the summer and internationals all, this should really be a transition season for Sheffield. You shouldn't even be thinking about top 8.
Well, you've always got to think about top 8, really, no. We're just thinking of wins at the moment. We're taking one thing at a time, and hopefully we can get the wins. No, we're playing particularly well at the moment, but we're not consistent enough. I think that's what's letting us down at the moment. We're letting a lot of tries in, and we are scoring a few, but not as many as we'd like to think we are.
What about Leeds? Did they disappoint you today? Because they certainly disappointed the neutrals.
Well, we just maybe caught them on and off day. No, Leeds and Sheffield are usually probably good matches. But we knew what kind of rugby they would play, and we just snuffed everything they tried at us.
And yourself and Paul Broadbent, 2 great games. You must have enjoyed every minute of it.
Well, yeah, certainly, of course we did. But no, it's a 15-man game, and everybody pulled together. And no credit to all boys.
And from here, top 8's a definite possibility now.
Well, I hope so. No, I think we deserve it, and no, we're just got to keep going.
Well, Neil, I suppose the only thing we can say after that is that the championship now just about is Wigan's, or do you not give up until it's mathematically certain?
I won't give up until it's over, but it's looking that way now. You just told me Wigan's won, so it's not looking too clever for us. So all we can do to end the season is just carry on and try not lose another one.
What on earth went wrong today? Because this was not the Leeds that has won 14 in a row.
No, it wasn't. We sort of came in with a bit of a lackadaisical attitude. You know, we can't lose, but unfortunately we did today. I think, you know, the narrow pitch didn't help us, but there's, you know, no complaints about that. Sheffield just came out, they was more enthusiastic than we was, and it showed in the first half an hour.
What's the atmosphere like in that dressing room? Because you have been tipped out to do this interview, I know.
Well, if I said dead, that'd be an understatement. I think everybody's still hiding in the showers. It's not very good.
Gary Hetherington has said, I think now you can concentrate on Wembley, but Featherstone will watch this video tonight, and they will say, well, Leeds now are not unbeatable.
That's right. You know, Sheffield put some holes in our defence this afternoon, which Dougie won't be happy about, we won't be happy about. We'll have a good look at it on Tuesday in training, and we've got to bounce back against St Helens on Wednesday.
That's an important game for Leeds now, and there are the statistics from this defeat here at the Don Valley. Leeds having to do a lot more work in the tackling. There were 15 scrums and Sheffield had 11 of them. Penalties just about level. Handling errors, well, Leeds made 10 to Sheffield's 8, and it was Sheffield's half in both of the periods of this match.
Bird catches the worm, so they say. It's surprising they weren't catching fish at Old Deer Park, venue recently for the Oxford versus Cambridge University match. On this occasion, the green wellies and Barber jackets were necessary. Now, I know rugby league is attracting new fans, but surely not Her Majesty. Students from the universities came up to town for the big day, undaunted by the dreadful conditions, while in the warmth of the London Welsh clubhouse, city guests enjoyed a pre-match lunch. Seems you get blue chips with everything these days. There were members of the theatrical profession too, Bernard Cribbins, Colin Welland and T.P. McKenna. Cambridge went into the game as narrow favourites and were captained by Adrian Spencer from Warrington, who played for London Broncos, then appeared in the Varsity Union match and was subsequently suspended from Union for a year. A strange tangle.
I wouldn't say strange, because it felt strange playing the other one, really, because I never expected to be there. Obviously, I always expected to be playing this one, assuming I was free from injury.
What about conditions? The pitch is a wash.
Yeah, it is. I think it's just going to be a very, very close game. Obviously, the team that keeps it together the best in these conditions is going to come out the winner.
Oxford decided to test the conditions underfoot after it was decided to play 2 periods of 20 minutes because of the state of the pitch. The Oxford coach, Hemel Hempstead's Chris Tate, agreed it was touch and go whether the game should actually be played.
I tend to think so, but the boys would definitely disagree with me. To them, it's the most important game of their careers in many of the cases, and they're very keen for the game to go ahead. The conditions won't really come into it. The rivalry between the two universities is such that they would want the game to go ahead.
And so it did, predictably the water making life difficult for 2 committed sides. No wonder the Oxford coach was looking perplexed. It was the Light Blues who scored first, defying the conditions with a slick handling move, finished off by Andrew Morgan. But in the first period it was neck and neck, and Oxford scored a truly bizarre try to level the scores. Wingman John Brennand was credited with this splashdown. It was 8-all at the end of normal time, and the issue was settled in extra time. Cambridge ran out 16-8 winners, and both sides deserved credit for producing an entertaining game in a paddy field. Those involved were quick to emphasise that it had been a genuine contest and not, as some suggested, a varsity match.
I don't think so. I think it was always going to be a close game. It always is. There aren't that many runaway victories in the varsity matches. Both teams contest them to the full, extent, and that was the way it was today.
Sweet victory.
I think our boys wanted it more. I think that was what, all credit to Oxford. I thought they played very well. I just thought we had the heart in the end.
You must be disappointed, though, it turned out to be a bit of a farce.
Well, I wouldn't say it was a farce. No game of rugby league is a farce. The ball went through hands dozens and dozens of times in the game. There was some tremendous commitment from both teams. But if you're looking at it from the point of view of the spectators, then they wouldn't get a lot from it other than partisan support. And there was plenty shouting, so most people on the touchline, got something from it anyway.
Even the Seagulls did. It was